What up everyone, quick note before the video starts. So I've been making videos on YouTube for almost 2 years now, and while my growth is pretty steadily okay, I know I can do better. So I want to ask you guys, the viewers, subscribers, or people who just passed through, what other type of videos you want to see. Keep in mind that this channel focuses mainly on performance training and weight loss, but if there are topics in particular you want to see more of, please hit me up in the comment section. Let me know. I take all feedback. With that being out of the way, let's get into the video. So yeah, we all wanted this fight to happen, but it never did. But I'm gonna make the video about this anyway, just to give an idea of what I thought would have happened, or at least one scenario that would have happened. So had Tony and Dustin fought, this would have been a slugfest, a bloodbath through and through. They both have very cool styles and perfect for a fight, but I think this fight should have been decided by one critical factor, and that factor is output. Now, both fighters have really high output, but the manner in which they go about it is very different, and I'll demonstrate it with the next few videos you're about to see. So this style can be categorized as output 1. You can see that for certain durations I'm not throwing anything, I'm moving around a lot, picking my shots, and feinting a lot, and just timing and when to go in and throw combinations. With output 2, the approach is different. I am just throwing hands all over the place, taking very little breaks between combinations, mostly just taking breaks to move around, reset, but beyond that I'm throwing punches quite constantly. I think we could all agree that Dustin Poirier falls into the category of output 1. High output, but he doesn't just throw hands anyhow. He takes his time, picks his shots on when to explode and start unleashing combinations. This would be the best way to describe Dustin's style. Tony's style is more output 2, and that version throws punches crazy all over the place. In fact, not just punches, knees, kicks, elbows. Yeah, Tony's a savage. So these factors are what, in my opinion, would be the biggest determination of the fight. And I got into a bit of a disagreement with some people on Facebook over when people were mistaking me talking about output and thinking it was cardio. That's not the case. Now, because I've talked about Tony several times on this channel before, I'm going to not talk about him so much as we analyze the output of the fighters. So the reason I think the output would be the deciding factor, and I shall demonstrate it in a minute. Like I said, I'm not going to talk so much about Tony. Instead, I'm going to focus primarily on Dustin Poirier. And the reason I'm going to focus more on Poirier is because his output approach is different depending on the fight, and I'm going to demonstrate how his output, depending on the approach he would have taken against Ferguson, that would truly be a good determination of how the fight would have gone. So yeah, like I said, Dustin's output is more him picking his shots. He doesn't explode right out the gate. But Tony is also the same. Tony doesn't start the fight like a bat out of hell. He takes his time and picks his shots. But to demonstrate what I'm talking about with Dustin, I'm going to go over two of some of Dustin's most exciting fights. That was the fight he had with Justin Gaethje, and the fight he had with Max Holloway. Now, bear in mind, these bouts won't tell the whole story, but they will give you an example of the point I'm trying to make in regards to Dustin's output and why I feel like it would be a deciding factor if he fought against Ferguson. Now, what you're seeing here are the number of strikes that Dustin was able to land against Gaethje in the first 2 rounds of their fight. He landed 121. That is quite impressive, truthfully. And this is just the first 2 rounds, mind you. But now look at the first 2 rounds of his fight with Max Holloway. He landed, if I'm calculating this right, 99 punches. And some people would think that's a minimum depreciation, but it's actually quite significant because of the approaches he took in both fights were different. With Gaethje, Dustin was keeping his distance and exploding into combinations at specific points. Anytime Dustin got in, he would counter and with a combination or two. He only wanted to finish the fight when he saw Gaethje was rocked in the 4th round, and we all know what happened next. He won. But the approach was he was composed and patient. With Holloway, he got too excited. He rocked Holloway early in the 1st round and got excited, got obsessed with finishing the fight, and this affected his output for the rest of the fight, because in as much as Holloway was beaten in this fight, truth be told, Dustin, there were many points in this fight where he genuinely looked exhausted, and that's because he got so obsessed with wanting to finish the fight, he, for lack of a better term, overthrew. Because this led to situations like Holloway actually having moments of success, especially in the 3rd. But Dustin, being well trained as he is, knew how to create situations where Holloway wasn't able to build on that success, because the 3rd round was Holloway's only good round. Unlike other opponents of Holloway's, like for example Brian Ortega, who literally just stood there letting Holloway use him as a punching bag, Dustin was able to move around. My problem is that if he took the Holloway approach against Ferguson, Ferguson would not let him breathe. Like Dustin was able to create distance from Holloway, but Ferguson is a beast and he's very good at cutting off the octagon. As you see here with Anthony Pettis, he cut off the octagon and Pettis' butt was glued to the fence. So yeah, that's why I say output would have been the deciding factor here. And I'm not knocking on Dustin's conditioning, I'm knocking on his ability to throw hands. And the reason I'm knocking on it is because in a lot of Dustin's fights, he's found himself in situations where he has to circle around and create moments where he can clinch and take breaks. And there's nothing wrong with that. All world-class athletes do this. A marathon runner doesn't sprint from the start of the marathon to the end of it. They wouldn't finish. They wouldn't even get halfway. No, they're strategic, and that's what Dustin does. The problem is taking that approach against Tony could be detrimental for so many reasons, because Tony cuts off the octagon a lot better than Gaethje can, and he can really make the cage small. And for me, that would have been the challenge. So if you guys want another video on this topic, please like this video and subscribe maybe if you want more content, and hit the bell notification. If you guys want me to make another video on this topic, I'd gladly make it. This Never Stop Moving Forward. Thank you for watching.